Good morning, children. I am C.H. Madhavi, TGT Social Studies, Tupran, Medak West Region. How are you, children? I hope you all are all fine at your home. So today our session start with a short story. So children, I think you are very curious to listen the story. Yes, then I will start. Once a God given curse to the farmers in a village. That is, there will be no rains for 12 years and they were not able to produce any crops. The farmers begged the God, but he didn't listen to them, and then the disappointed farmers decided to wait for 12 years. But one farmer regularly was plugging the field and sowing the seeds and doing all the agricultural activities. Even he won't emerge any crops. By watching this, the remaining farmers making fun, but he ignored them, and he was every year working in his field. So by observing this, God wanted to test his patience. So one day he came in an old man get-up and asked the farmer, why are you waiting? Why are you doing all these activities, wasting your time and energy by doing this? Then the farmer replied that, I know the rain will not come, but I am doing it as matter of practice. And after 12 years, I may forget the process of growing crops, so that I am keeping doing to produce the crops when there is rain after 12 years. By hearing these words, God was surprised for his commitment and blessed him and changed in his original structure as God and given rain not only to him for the entire village. Then the entire village got happy. So children, let the school may reopen after 2 weeks or 2 months, but you must upgrade your knowledge by keep learning. So by listening this story, children, I think you got our today's topic, that is rivers and rainfall. Rivers and rainfall. Children, what is the important element of nature? Yes, water is the important element of nature. So without water, we can't live on earth. To survive, for every animal and in every planet, every plant, we use water only. So it occupies 70% of the earth's surface. The water has a continuous movement within the earth and atmosphere. This is called water cycle. This is called water cycle. In this water cycle, the water changes into 3 phases. Those are gas, liquid and solid. So children, look at the slide. Here the water cycle that is having 3 stages: evaporation, condensation and precipitation. The water cycle starts with water vapor. Children, do you know what is water vapor? The water changes into gas, that is water vapor. We can observe these in our daily life also. For example, if we take a vessel with water and keep it on flame, then the vessel and water gets heated up. When the water is in boiling position, the gases comes out from the water. This is called water vapor. These water vapor mixes with air. And one more example, children. When we keep the wet cloths in the open area, after a while the water disappears from the cloths and dries. So in this example, the water absorbs the heat from the sun and water changes into water vapor and mixes with air. This is called evaporation. So that is the first stage. Children, now tell me, what is evaporation? the water changes into water vapor and mixes with air. Then we move to the next stage, that is condensation. So, while water changes into water vapor, it rises upwards and gets cooled, and then the water vapor turns into tiny water droplets. So, children, do you know how the water vapor turns into tiny water droplets? Then, if we move higher altitudes from the surface of the earth, the atmosphere gets cooled. That is, for 1000 meters if we move, the temperature decreases 6.5 degrees, so that the water vapor turns into tiny water droplets. So, these tiny water droplets come together and gather around the minute dust particles and smoke particles and gradually increase the size and form as clouds. This is condensation. So, children, now tell me, what is condensation? The water vapor turns into tiny water droplets and form as clouds. Then we move to the third stage, that is precipitation. So, children, after condensation, the clouds still rising towards upwards. Whenever the clouds get heavier, the air cannot hold the remain water, then they begin to fall as raindrops. This is precipitation. This precipitation includes in many forms like rain, snow, hail, sleet, etc. So, this is about the water cycle. After this rain, the rainwater falls into the sloping land, then the water moves on sloping land in the form of river and merging into the ocean, then again the evaporation process starts. So, like this, the water cycle is a continuous movement throughout the year. So, children, the water, when it rains, the water comes down when there is rain, the water comes from the mountain slopes. The water flow cuts the mountain slopes, and when it rains again and again, the water flow in the same channel and flows down. When it flows forward, it becomes bigger and wider. This is the formation of river. When a stream or a small canal which joins into the major river, it is called as tributary. So, on the basis of the river originating, the rivers are broadly divided into two categories. Those are Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. The Himalayan rivers are Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Then the peninsular rivers are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Narmada and Tapi rivers. Then we move to Himalayan rivers. Children, look at the slide. Here the Himalayan rivers. The Himalayan rivers, the first one is Indus River. Indus River originates at Kailash range near Manas Sarovar in Tibet. It enters into India in Ladakh. So, earlier Jammu Kashmir is a state, but after abolition of Article 370, now it is not a state. It was divided into two union territories. One is Jammu and the another one is Ladakh. So, now the Indus River enters into India in Ladakh and flows through Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. The Indus River is having some major tributaries. Those are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Sutlej. These are the tributaries of Indus River. This Indus River is a west flowing rivers. So it flows through Pakistan and merging into Arabian Sea. Then we move to the another Himalayan river, that is Ganga river. Ganga river is the biggest river in India. It has through two main resources to originate. Those are Bhagirathi and Alakananda. Bhagirathi and Alakananda. Bhagirathi originates at Gangotri glacier and Alakananda originates at Satopanath glacier. So these two rivers join at Devaprayag and form as Ganga river. Ganga river enters into plains at Haridwar in Uttarakhand, and it flows through Uttarakhand, UP, Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal, and flows through Bangladesh. Here the Ganga river is called as Padma river and merging into Bay of Bengal. Ganga river has the two types of tributaries. Those are north side tributaries and south side tributaries. The north side tributaries are Gandak, Gomati, Kosi and Gagra, etc. Then the south side tributaries are Chambal, Betwa, Son, Sindh, Ken and etc. These are the tributaries of Ganga river. Ganga river has one famous, that is Ganga river is a sacred river also. Then we move to Brahmaputra river. This Brahmaputra river originates at Chamyangdang glacier. At Chamyangdang glacier near Manas Sarovar. So this river enters into India at Arunachal Pradesh and flows through Assam. There in Tibet, Brahmaputra river is called as Tsangpo river. Tsangpo river. When it enters into Assam, there it joins the two main tributaries. Those are Dibang and Lohit, and there it is called as Brahmaputra river. And Brahmaputra river also called as Red river. Brahmaputra river having some major tributaries. Those are Dibang, Lohit, Manas, Subansiri, Teesta and etc. This is about Himalayan rivers. Then we move to peninsular rivers. So we have peninsular rivers two types. So we have two types of peninsular rivers. Peninsular rivers are two types. One is west flowing rivers and east flowing rivers. West flowing rivers are Narmada and Tapi. The east flowing rivers are Godavari, Krishna, Mahanadi and Kaveri. Let's discuss, starts with west flowing rivers. These west flowing rivers, Narmada river first. This Narmada river originates at Amarkantak in Madhya Pradesh and flows through Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Gujarat and merging into Arabian Sea. This is the speciality of west flowing rivers. So this west flowing rivers flows westwards and merging into Arabian Sea, and east flowing rivers flows eastwards and merging into Bay of Bengal. Then comes to Tapi river. Tapi river originates at Sahyadri range in Madhya Pradesh and flows through Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Gujarat. Then comes to east flowing rivers. The east flowing rivers, Godavari river. Godavari river originates at Triambakeshwar near Nasik in Maharashtra. It flows through Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Odisha and merging into Bay of Bengal. This is the largest peninsular river and second largest river in India. Then we move to Krishna river. Krishna river is the one of the east flowing peninsular river and it originates at Mahabaleshwar in Maharashtra and flows through Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka and it merging into Bay of Bengal. Then Mahanadi river. Mahanadi river originates at Sinhawa hills in Chhattisgarh and flows through Chhattisgarh and Odisha. Then Kaveri river. Kaveri river originates at Talakaveri in Karnataka and flows through Karnataka and Tamil Nadu merging into Bay of Bengal. This is about peninsular rivers. So we have the differences between peninsular rivers and Himalayan rivers. Himalayan rivers are perennial rivers and peninsular rivers are non-perennial rivers. Himalayan rivers are depending on rainfall and also snow melting and peninsular rivers are depending only rainfall and Himalayan rivers flows throughout the year because these are perennial rivers and peninsular rivers flows only in the rainy season. Himalayan rivers flows in the northern part only and peninsular rivers flows in southern part of India and Himalayan rivers are snow fed rivers and peninsular rivers are rain fed rivers. So Himalayan rivers are snow fed rivers and peninsular rivers are rain fed rivers. So these rain fed rivers are depending on rainfall only. Children, do you know when the rain will comes? During rainy season. So we have rainfall in rainy season with the help of southwest monsoons and northeast monsoons. So we can measure the rainfall by using this rain gauge. Children, this is the instrument. By using this rain gauge we can measure the rainfall. So this is the scale to measure the rainfall. When we keep this rain gauge in an open area, if we keep this rain gauge in an open area, after a while, for few days we have to keep, when it rains, the water levels increase. For example, after when it rains, the water level increase to 2 centimeters, then we can measure that the rainfall is 2 centimeters during that period and for that area. So like this we can measure rainfall by using this rain gauge. So we can measure the rainfall in centimeters and also in millimeters. Children, 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. Then we have the rivers of Telangana. So these rivers also perennial rivers. The major perennial rivers which are flowing into Telangana are Godavari and Krishna. So Godavari river enters into Telangana at Kandakurti near in Nizamabad and flows through Andhra Pradesh and merging into Bay of Bengal. This Godavari river having some major tributaries. Those are Manjira, Kadem, Pranahita, Indravati and etc. Then Krishna river. Krishna river enters into Telangana in Mahabub Nagar district and flows through Andhra Pradesh and merging into Bay of Bengal. and Krishna river is also having some tributaries, major tributaries. Those are Dindi, Moosi, Ghataprabha, Peddavagu, all these are the tributaries of Krishna river. So we can measure the rainfall by using this rain gauge. So here we have the annual rainfall of India. So children, observe this slide, that is annual rainfall of India. So does India is having even rainfall across the country? No, there is variations because of the regional variations in terms of precipitation, and also the high pressure belt and low pressure belt are the reasons for this regional variations of rainfall. So children, observe the northeastern states, that was colored dark blue color, no? So here the rainfall is very heavy, and here the western coast parts also received heavy rainfall. Due to Western Ghats, these western coastal areas are receiving heavy rainfall, and here the northeastern states are having high peak hills, so that these northeastern states are receiving highest rainfall. So the northern part of India is having moderate rainfall. So this moderate rainfall received due to western disturbances, so that this northern part of India receiving moderate rainfall. Here the central India is receiving also moderate rainfall, that is normal rainfall. And here this is Rajasthan, this part, and also here in Ladakh, this part are receiving very low rainfall, that means the scanty rainfall is receiving in these areas. And here also the Deccan Plateau is also receiving less rainfall due to Western Ghats leeward side, so that the Deccan Plateau is receiving very less rainfall. And here this part is the leeward side of Aravalli ranges, so that this part is also receiving very scanty rainfall, so that here we can observe the Thar desert, and here in Ladakh also these are also the leeward side, so that it is receiving very less rainfall. So these are the annual rainfall of India. So why this annual rainfall is difference in different regions? Because the regional variations in terms of precipitation, and also the high pressure belt and low pressure belt, these are also, and also the relief features, like here in India is having many relief features in India. So here the western coastal, and here the eastern coastal part, here northeastern states, like this the Indian relief features are also one of the reason. And we have winds blowing from the southern part of India. So this part is from this the southwest and northeast monsoons will come, so that those are bring from these Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. These are all the reasons for annual rainfall differences in India. Now let's move to Telangana annual rainfall. So here we can observe the Telangana annual rainfall. So children, observe this annual rainfall in Telangana. So Telangana is receiving normal rainfalls from southwest monsoons only, so that the north part of Telangana and east part of Telangana is receiving highest rainfall, and the largest area of Telangana plateau is receiving moderate, that means less rainfall. And here the south part, especially Mahabubnagar and Jogulamba districts are receiving very less, that means scanty rainfall, so that these areas are mostly dry lands. This is about annual rainfall of Telangana. So, children, look at this once. Here we have rainfall in millimeters. Children, please observe this, concentrate this bar graph of past 10 years rainfall trend in India. If we observe, this rainfall is in even? No, the rainfall are difference in different years. So, look at once. So, in 2010 and 11 almost same, but when 2012 it was decreased, then again in 2013 it was increased. So, like that we have variations in rainfall. From past 10 years the rainfall are having variations. So, in 2018, among all these past 10 years, 2018 is received heavy rainfall, and then when comes to 2019 it was somewhat decreased. So, children, can you guess why this rainfall is different in different years? This is the puzzle to you, children. You have to find that. Then we move to, this is the time for project work, children. So, the first question is, describe the water cycle in your own words. Describe the water cycle in your own words. And the second question is, differentiate between Himalayan and peninsular rivers, and write a brief note on rivers of Telangana. So, children, this is the project work to you. I am very thankful. So, now this topic is over. So, I am very thankful to our Secretary Sir and RCO Sir and ARCO Sir and our Principal Ma'am by giving this great opportunity, and thank you all.